Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is 9:45. This will serve as the second video of the week. Unfortunately, I made a video yesterday that never got posted, which was intended to be the second video. It didn't happen, so this is going to serve as that. There's a lot to unpack today, quite a bit of information, data that I want to review with everybody and kind of gives people some insights on what's working. Fortunately, it's been a first couple of weeks of the year have been fantastic, so that's good. So let's go into the backdrop of some economic data and kind of what I've been focusing on more of a granular level. So we've had a lot of Fed chairs speaking. The Atlanta Fed came out, said he expected higher GDP growth, in the beginning of the week. We had a whole bunch of talking points on Wednesday. How one of the Fed chairs expects a rate cut. We had the jobs numbers yesterday, which the job numbers were surprisingly better than most people expected, which was a very big surprise, I guess, especially for me. I didn't think it would be that good. It turned out to be very good, which helped the market propel. I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing is not necessarily the divergence, but I'm seeing a healthy rotation in the market, and that's what's making me optimistic. I always talk about participation from other sectors in equities, and what we're seeing is just that. So we're not seeing what I think a lot of people feared was the AI bubble, where the AI names are going to take everybody down like the dot-com bubble. We're not seeing that. We're actually seeing people rotate out of the AI names and rotate into other names, and in a healthy way. And one of the ways I talked about that on Monday was understanding the RSP, the equal weight S&P, and seeing how, made an all-time high yesterday. And that's great because if you look back on Wednesday, the stocks actually went down Wednesday. The market was down Wednesday, but yet the S&P had 300 stocks make a new all-time high. And I wrote these notes down. So, you're having great participation. So the breadth underneath the surface is really good, where typically we find that you have major Mag 7 names uplift the market. The same old names that you'll always hear, they push and pull the market up. Now you're having a lot of participation, a lot of rotation. And for somebody like me who pays attention to that, that's awesome. I mean, it's optimistic. It makes me very positive on the outlook of the market. So obviously, the leader in the market is the Russell. That is the risk on. That is the small cap growth names. MNDY is the mid cap. Also, I'll touch on that just for a second. That's Monday.com. The mid cap names are propelling up. This is because of expanding multiples from the Fed rate cut that we're anticipating that we're going to see. So let's first dive into the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq has been the laggard compared to every other index. The S&P, the Dow, and the Russell are performing better. However, we are still above all major moving averages, and volume has picked up. Yesterday, we had a bounce off the 50, which I thought was positive. We obviously want to take out this high. That is the name of the game, is take out this high and become uber bullish. We're not quite there yet, but we're close. Keep in mind the Nasdaq is the weighted AI names are in that. So with AI and software not performing that well the last couple of weeks, it has come down. So the Dow hit a record high, Nasdaq record high, Russell is picking up again. So that is really positive. Going into Bitcoin, I talked about Bitcoin. I thought had carved out a low, and I still think it has done that. You'll see, pay attention to the 20. The 20 curled through the 50, which very, very bullish. And you see that curl was here. So when you see that, now obviously this above here is your 200. You would love to see this 50 go through here. Still a long ways away from there. It's going to take some time. I did make that purchase that I said a couple weeks ago, and I still think that now Bitcoin is going to have its uptrend and it's going to begin soon. Overall, I have to say I think Bitcoin has held up pretty well. I was one of those guys who said we would see a low of here. It did not happen. It came close. We saw a low of 80. I thought we would see 74. I was off by $6,000. I made a nice purchase 2 weeks ago, and I'm riding that trend. And I think we are going to see 100,000 as early as next week, to be completely honest with you. Gold continues its just melt up. I mean, just record highs. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse. 5,000 an ounce is what I stand by. That's what I'm sticking with. I think that's what we're going to see. So gold and gold supporting names like miners continue to do great. And again, that touches on, we have uranium, copper, all of these commodities are just doing unbelievable. I mean, silver let me just show you the silver ETF. I mean, just good Lord. I mean, every form of resistance broken. I mean, hit a high, an all-time high, 85. I think that was, and then funny enough, that it hit the high, and then the U.S. Mint came out and said it's not producing any more silver for a period of time. So you would think that creates a supply-demand issue, and then instantly it came down. Funny how that works. Buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. So anyways, that's still going. So you have the backdrop of the market. There is, as anticipated, a lot to unpack here with what's going on. Now I'm going to move into the stocks that are working, the stocks that are not working. And so my strategy, I don't want to say has changed, but I adapt my strategy to what the market's giving me. The market for the last 2 weeks has really given me a lot of small cap and growth names on the rise. So I'm playing a lot of smaller names now than I normally do. I'm also playing some names that I think are going to have a great recovery story for 2026. So I'm going to dive into that and kind of go through what I've bought and what I've sold. I've definitely been a lot more active the last week compared to the holidays. Those 2 weeks I wasn't trading anywhere near as much. I've been back to my norm, trading quite a bit the last week and a half. I also want to talk about, I've been sending out some kind of updates to friends, people on a text message on when I get into some of these names. I'm considering putting together just something so that I could send live up-to-date kind of alerts, so to say. It's not a lot of alerts. I'm not sitting here making 20 trades a day, but I'm going to find a way to try to do that. If you're interested in that, if you could write a message, let me know. I kind of want to gauge who would want that and who would want to be part of that thread. So jumping into what we have and what's been working and what you can play for this week, I'm going to give you a couple of ideas. So first has been uranium. Let's start with uranium. I served this one in CCJ up. All right, so this is the uranium name I served up. And sorry, that's not the correct uranium name. I digress. This is the correct one, and here. This is going to probably be a sell for me today. I need to take profits. I have short-dated calls. I might trim that soon. So UUU, I gave that one about a week and a half back. That one seems to be performing really well, and that is a uranium name. CCJ, another one. Fortunately, I don't have calls here. I have shares, but this is starting to really this is breaking out now. I think I'm going to trim a piece today, CCJ. So this is not financial advice. Rather, this is for educational purposes. I'm not telling you what to buy and what to sell. I'm telling you what I'm doing, and if it works for you, you can do that. AEHR. I gave this one an alert a couple weeks ago to probably about 6 or 7 people. I'm in this. I think this one's going to really do well. Small cap, semiconductor space, up today 2%. I'm up on this trade. I think I grabbed this on Monday, if I'm not mistaken, or Tuesday, one of the days. So anyways, maybe up just a couple bucks on that. CERS has been just an absolute winner for me. I would like to trim some of this. This is a small name. I don't normally pay $2. I think I gave this one back to you guys here, and then I had a couple moves. A bunch of my buddies sold here and here. I held on. I have not sold any of it. I think I'm going to trim a little bit of this today. I will tell you, though, that if this slides back to the 5, this is actionable. I still think this is going higher, but I'm going to probably trim and trade around what's like a core position for me. So I want to keep a core, but I definitely want to trim because this is just run up huge. So that's been a great, fun name to trade, and a small name at that. Here's another one that's just been I gave you guys back this one maybe 2 weeks ago, RCAT. And then, admittedly, I'm probably going to also exit out of this one today. This has been a great move for me. You know, this has just done tremendous. Another small name that has just really picked up aerospace and defense. See, but here's the thing, though. Our cat up today. You want to see it. It's just riding this 5-day trend. There's no sale sign. So, you'd ask me, why would I sell? Well, because pigs get slaughtered and I'm up 38-40% on this already. So, you do want to take profits. I'm not saying I'm going to sell the whole position, but I'm going to definitely trim. Make no mistake, I still think this is going higher. So I just want to point that out. So I'm going down my list. I talked about Novo Nordisk. I got back into Novo Nordisk, and I really have. I'm a little bit pissed I didn't buy a heavier amount of this. I bought this in my IRA. Look, I'm really adamant. I think this is going to $100. I think this is going to be a great recovery story. This isn't going to be as fast, but I want everybody to understand that nothing has changed with this stock. The GLP-1 oral that was announced last week is really going to take off. It has a lower price. It's easily administered, acquired. There's just many factors from it, and there's a lot of fat-ass people in this country. So I think at the end of the day, drugs like this are going to work because there's always going to be lazy fat people that need to take these drugs, and they're going to continue evolving. And sorry, I'm not trying to fat shame anybody. But it's just the reality. There's a ton of fat people, and fat people need these drugs. So that's what's going to happen. So I'm a big fan of this. I think I should have bought more, and I think I'm going to buy more. I think this is going to $100. Put me down on record. It is January 16th. I think this is going to $100. So, yeah, I'm happy to be back in this name. Let me go through. Oh, I sold Seagate actually before I logged on to this. I caught it when I told you guys it came down. I caught it and I sold it this morning. Though I want to say I probably sold this one early too. It's just when everything's going up like this for me, I have to take profits. This one I did sell the entirety of it. I will look for another entry, but I need to see this calm down and form a new base. It's been stuck in this channel, so it has a nice cadence. It's up and down. I think it's going to get denied at the top of this channel, and that's kind of why I sold it this morning. The cadence has been pretty obvious of the way this thing trades. But if you guys recall, I gave you this setup right here on this day. Whatever that day was, I told you was a buy, and that was 280, and now it's 327. So if you bought it, congratulations, you did very well on that. One that I bought, a very boring stock, is Visa. I bought this in my IRA. This is not a trade for me. Rather, this is just an investment. As you see, it got hit down from 357 on the Trump news with the 10% interest cap on credit cards. Came down. I just see this as an opportunity. Hard to deny Visa. I mean, this is to me like a no-brainer. This is one I'm going to look back in a couple of months and be like, why didn't I park every dollar I had in this? Because it's going to be at like 370 in like 3 months, and I'm going to be like, damn, I should have put more into it. But anyways, this is not one that I'm trading. I stuck it in the IRA, and I'm going to let that one go. I'm not going to trade that. I don't have the ability to sit there and pay attention to Visa. All right, moving right along to the good. We'll continue the good, and then I'm going to take you down the path of some of the bad. Taiwan Semiconductor had great earnings. This is still actionable, in my opinion. I gave this to you guys 2 weeks ago. Whether you took it or not, I have no idea. I hope you did. I'm up now. I don't know. I'm up like 25% on this. I don't have any sale signs. I think this is going higher. I have no desire to sell this whatsoever. I think this is actionable. Here's another one that is just forming out, and I hate that I gave back profits here, but American Eagle. So it had this run. I got it, obviously. It had this down day, picked back up, and it got shot down. I think it's going to form a shelf here, and then it's going to have to take about a month or two to consolidate, and it's going to go. Look, I still think this is a great purchase. If your time frame is like a year out, 6 months out, you have that patience, great purchase. I think this is going to be great. I think it's going to do well. Obviously, the news on this holiday retail sales it's not what everybody wanted. But I still think this is actionable, actually. Look, would I rather pick it up here? I still own it. So would I rather pick it up here above the 50? Sure. I just don't know if you're going to get that lucky that it's going to come here. I don't know that you're going to be that lucky. So keep your eye on that one. Let's see what else that we have. So SanDisk, I have traded. Oh, man, tell you, SanDisk is one that I probably am going to kick myself in the head. It reminds me of Super Micro from like 2 years ago. So a couple of things with SanDisk. One, I traded this last year. I had one trade that I made 20%. I had one trade that I lost 5%. I got stopped out. And then last week I traded calls on this. I had a really, really good trade on calls. Probably made a good amount. And then I had another trade on calls that I lost 5 or 6%, no big deal. So overall, I've been a winner in this. I don't currently own it, and I do want to buy it again. And as somebody who has said to me, who I value their opinion in stocks, they trade with me. We share a lot of ideas, and he said, "Well, man, isn't it extended? You know?" And I said, "Listen, man, it's riding that 5 day, and it hasn't like here's your 5 day, like a pullback to here, down today." Well, it's not even down 1%. It's so hard to buy this. Oh, not even down 1%, but I think this is going to go higher. Like, I know people are like, man, it's so overvalued. This is that. Like, but stocks are overvalued. They keep going higher and then they crash. And I mean, you ride the trend until the trend breaks. So my opinion to you is if you're looking for a setup, look for a setup right around that $400 range and set a stop below like a bottom of a wick or from the prior day's low. If you can do that, I think that's a setup trade that might work in your favor. So anyways, moving right along here, IMNM, this is one that I'm very, very bullish on for 2026. Clay Siegel, the CEO, I'm a big fan of this guy. Huge day yesterday. I'm back in the green on this one. This is more of a conviction play for me. I think this is like a $2 billion market cap. I think it's going to get bought for like 10 billion at some point. Or I'm sorry, 2 billion get bought for 10 billion. Clay Siegel, the CEO, big fan of this guy. If you paid attention to him with Seattle, I forget the name of it. I think it was called Seattle something or another. Sorry, I digress. Anyways, the stock is worth and I don't put price targets, but I think this is going up higher. I'm back in the green. I actually think this is set up really nicely. So if you're looking for a trade, I think this is available for you to the top of this channel. If you're looking for an investment, I think it's also available to you. The trade itself, I think, it's going to have some issues at the top of this channel, but the investment, I think, long term is good. So, anyways, moving along. 17 minutes in, I'm going to try to cut this short for you guys that have some ADD. Open. Yes. I know it's still hovering around. Jesus, have a little patience with this thing. It had a great day here, got denied. That was on the news of Trump with BlackRock blocking institutions buying investment properties. Obviously, this stock is very sensitive to that, so it had a very good day. It's still flagging. This is a flag pattern. This is all a flag pattern. Do not be surprised. Patience will pay. Anyways, moving along. Palantir, I'm still watching. Palantir's getting tight, and I mean tight. I still own PLTW. This is very tight action here. I think this is going to break to the upside. I still own my PLTW. I do have a stop loss set. I do have a stop loss set at the bottom of this wick for PLTW. So you see 34.43. I love the weekly dividend, but that is my stop loss at 34.32. So if it loses that, I'm out. I don't buy Palantir anymore. I buy PLTW because I like playing for the dividend. This isn't a downtrend channel, so this is not something you could buy and own. This is for trades. This is to collect weekly dividends and try to catch moves, and that's what I want to try to catch. So either way. And then what else? Again, I mentioned Bros. Bros is one of my setups for 2026 in my IRA. I do not trade this. I've had terrible luck trading it. I've had such good luck. Well, I had good luck trading it in 24, terrible in 25. Well, now in my IRA, I'm sitting on like a very nice profit. I think this is going to $100 for you guys that are long-term investors. Bury this in your IRA. You're going to see this one over $100 at the end of the year. Hold me to that. That's part of why I make these videos, is so I can be held accountable for my trades. I don't win them all. I think I give everybody my losers too. I'm going to give you a loser right now, but yeah. So Reddit is the loser. Sucks. I was up very nicely on this and got annihilated yesterday. I'm still in it because I never set a trailing stop. which is why I tell everybody to set stop losses. I didn't take my own advice. Well, I have a stop, but my stop is 7% from when I bought it, and I bought it like here. So my stop is down here, but I really should have moved my stop up yesterday, or I should have moved my stop up in this area, and I did not do that. And I should have known, because when it couldn't make another high, I should have known that, and I did not do that. So now I'm going to have to ride this out. Here's the thing, though. It had bad news yesterday, but here's what I want you to watch is this 50. Pay very, very, very close attention where it's at right here. Because if it gets a bounce here, not only am I not selling the stock, I'm going to add shares to it if it gets a bounce. I still like Reddit. I do like Reddit. I think the news is a temporary measure, but I do like Reddit. So pay attention to this here. If it bounces off here, you can take this as a trade. So that's been my loser for the last 2 weeks. I handed out, I'm going to go through some small names again, not to rehash them. CERS, RCAT, AEHR, and I've been sending these in alerts to some buddies and friends. If you guys want to do that, I am fine giving out these small cap alerts that I'm trading. I'm not doing it every day. Again, I'm not going to flood people with text messages and things like that. If I'm taking a trade, it's because it's well thought out. I'm just not interested in just buying something to buy it. For what it's worth, that is what it is. So today's Friday. I'm going to end with that. I will have another video Monday early. Monday is game day. The Hurricanes are in the national title. I will be there. It's a dream to go there and to see the game. So I'm going to be heading to the stadium early. So I will not be on this late. I'll make a quick video Monday. And for everybody, just set your stops, research over the weekend, pay attention to the Supreme Court ruling with tariffs, pay attention to how this day has finished. There's a lot of good action out there. And all right, have a good weekend.